We like to put together the letting seminars each month, the Friday before the letting is due, just to make sure all DBEs have the resources they need to submit their bids successfully before the letting on Friday, as well as give any prime contractors that may be looking for bids an opportunity to form to make that known to DBEs and kind of what they're looking for. So I won't hold up any longer. We do have Mr. Huffman from ALDOT on the line, DBE Supportive Services. We also have, I've seen Ms. Madlock from ENS, DBE Supportive Service, as well as Donald Mills and Ms. Stoudemire is on the line. I didn't see anybody from A&M yet on the line, but they'll be chiming in, Danielle or somebody from her office. So we are collectively the DBE Supportive Services. So depending on your area or your question, feel free to reach out to any one of those people I just mentioned for any support you need on bidding. We're focusing strictly on this coming up letting next Friday. So anything that you might need that's provided by Supportive Services, you'll be able to get connected with that here over the next hour. So we're not going to hold you long here today, but we want to share some valuable information that we think will help you be successful in the upcoming letting and the lettings to come. At the end of the letting seminar, we'll have contact information for all the people that we talked about as well. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Undoxon, and she's going to go through some of the lettings that we think are significant for the upcoming letting.
Thanks, Dr. Goldston. We're going to go over 6 projects from the letting on April 30th, next Friday with ALDOT. Our first project is going to be in Jefferson County. This project has a 4% DBE goal. It's working on the Lakeshore Parkway and I-65 interchange. It's a significant dollar value project. The bracket estimate is a little over $12 million to almost $15 million. There's demolition on this project. There's erosion control on this project, hauling, and there's also concrete work on this project. So if one of the traditional paving companies, should win this project, sometimes they sub out their concrete work. So any of our concrete DBEs might want to look at this project. The tentative bidders are Chilton Contractors, Rousseau Corporation, Abramson, Carsel and G, and McElhaney. So we encourage any of the DBEs to make contact with them and talk to them if you're going to bid this job. Next project. This is Project 7, Covington County. It's only a 1% DBE goal, but the bracket estimate is almost $8 million. This is a bridge replacement. There are several work types on here for DBEs. There's demolition, there's hauling, there's bituminous scoring on this one. There's steel reinforcement on this one, erosion control, and guardrail work. There's a long list of tentative bidders you see there. Newell, F&W, Newell and Bush, some of the regular Scott Bridge, Wiregrass, and Anderson Columbia, which is a new bidder that I'm not that familiar with. They're out of Florida. But if anybody is going to bid this project and wants to know any more about it, you can always contact us.
And just FYI, Anderson Columbia is a huge contractor out of Florida, based there in
Okay, great. I had not seen them on an ALDOT bid before, at least in the last few years. So
they tend to stay in that panhandle, but obviously are creeping up into South Alabama.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that information. Next project. This is Project 8 in Lee County. This is another bridge replacement, 2% DBE goal, bracket estimate right around the $4 to $4.5 million range. This one also has demolition, hauling, it has bituminous scoring, it has steel reinforcement, guardrail, erosion control. Your bidders are most of the big bridge builders you see: Scott Bridge, Bridge Builders of Alabama, McKinnis, Murphy, F&W, and Newell and Bush. So those are the primes you might want to contact. Next project. Project 22, Lauderdale County here in North Alabama, 5% DBE goal, bracket estimate 1.7 to 2. There are not a lot of work types on this for DBE aside from just the major paving on this, but there is hauling, guardrail, and bituminous scoring. The two bidders are Rogers Group and Mid-South Paving. And I would just like, this just brings up, if there are any of the DBEs that have not heard, Rogers Group out of Nashville has purchased Reed Contracting. Reed was probably the biggest bidder in our North Alabama area. So they have been purchased by Rogers Group. We are in contact with some of the people from Rogers Group. So going to kind of figure out how many people they're keeping from the Reed side, and maybe how many more new faces we'll see in the North Alabama market. So that happened just in the last few weeks. Next project. Project 25, Coleman County. This is a 5% DBE goal, 3.6 to a little over 4 million is the estimate. There's demolition, hauling, guardrail, erosion control, and there's also bituminous scoring on this one. Two bidders right now, Good Hope and Wiregrass. Next project. Or is that my last? No, there's one more. Yeah, 31, Jefferson County. This is a good DBE goal, 7%, 1.4 to 1.8 is the bracket on this. Demolition, hauling, steel reinforcement, guardrail, and erosion control. 3 bidders so far: Good Hope Contracting, Mid-South, and Dunn. So that's Birmingham area. And I think those are all the projects we had on this. This slide, I wanted to talk a little bit to any of the DBEs that are interested in airfield work. We had a meeting with Garber, which is a multidiscipline engineering firm. They have offices in 13 states. They're a big operation. They have an aviation group here in Huntsville that works with a lot of the airports throughout the state. So they have these projects you see listed on this slide that they are getting ready to design that will go out for bid, and they are trying to develop their DBE goals for these projects. So they need to know the DBEs in these different areas that might be interested in bidding on these projects so that they can set some realistic goals for DBE work. They've reached out to us and to some other entities to kind of gauge the interest in these projects and see what DBEs might be available in these areas. Some of the work that they're looking for DBEs to do would be drainage, seal coat, crack seal. There's also electrical work in this, some earthwork, and some paving. We can put you, if you're a DBE, we can put you in contact with Garber. If you're a prime contractor and you're interested in bidding on any of these projects, as the prime, we can also put you in contact with them. So you're welcome to reach out to us or your supportive service provider if you might be interested in any of these. And as these come to bid, Garver will send that information to us, and we will send that out to everyone else.
will there be any lighting work on those projects?
I don't know if that electrical work includes lighting, but I would assume so, probably. If there's a DBE that's interested in any of these projects, I can certainly arrange a meeting with them, with Garver, to talk about specifics.
I asked that question because lighting, we might have some DBEs who perform lighting or perform lighting as one of their services, and that does not usually come up a lot in ALDOT projects every once in a while. And I asked that question because I know the lighting folks need work.
Okay.
I'm very interested in the project, and as a low voltage general contractor, that's in our purview.
Mr. Huffman,
Okay.
Monica, this is Donald. Real quick, some of the challenges for the DBE is if there's lighting on there, they still, Monica, correct me if I'm wrong, may have to have a heavy construction as one of the work type to be able to perform some of those projects if it's a transportation project. Monica, can you give a little bit on that? I think that's one of the challenges for the DBEs.
Yeah, we've run into this before, and I'm not sure what the dollar threshold is on this, but to do FAA airfield work, sometimes you are required to have it's actually heavy railway on your general contractor's license, and that's just a specific FAA requirement. So if there are any DBEs that are general contractors that are interested in this airfield work, we would need to investigate whether you would need to add heavy railway to your general contractor certification so that you could be on the airfield.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure.
And here's one of the challenges that I face as a low voltage general contractor. The asphalt is not what we do. So the prime contractor may take care of all of the earthwork, etc. I would take care of the electrical or the low voltage side of that. So I would have to be a sub. What I'm after is, how do I connect that project to me? And how do I get in contact with who the prime is? Because they're going to bid it as a prime. I can do it as a prime, but that's not my scope of work. My scope of work is low voltage.
Well, this is Donald Taylor again. One of our conversations with Garver in that particular meeting that Veronica is discussing, we have asked them to provide us with a list of all of the typical prime contractor bids on this type work. And once we receive that list, we have no problem getting it out to the ALDOT, DBE, and prime contractor community.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Donald, I am finished. Would you like to introduce Mr. Webb to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Everyone, again, this is Donald Taylor. We are pleased to have Mr. Jeff Webb to join us today. He's the Executive Vice President of Ozark Striping Management Company. He has an in-depth understanding of the transportation industry. He is currently the president of the Alabama Road Builders Associations, but however, he has a lot of other memberships and associations that he belongs to, just to name a few. American Traffic Safety Service Association, American Road and Transportation Builder Association, which he's a board member, Alabama Asphalt Pavement Association, Alabama Alliance for Infrastructure, and there are a ton more. So with that being said, he has a really good understanding of what's going on from an infrastructure standpoint. And he also, with the Road Builders Association, he's the president, but he also chairs other committees as well. And one of those specific ones are Subcontractor Liaison Committee to ALDOT. So without further ado, Mr. Jeff Webb.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, obviously I see what the forum is here, but I'm not sure if I was supposed to present anything. I was asked to attend to be available to answer any questions. So I get paid by the word is how my compensation package works with Ozark. So I can ramble on as much as y'all like for me to, but I'm open for Q&A, or if somebody can point me in the right direction about any kind of topic you'd like for me to cover.
Well, sir, first of all, again, thank you for having us. Thank you for joining us. Can you give us a little background on the requirements for DBEs to do business with your organization, specifically to become a vendor for you guys, and then also your expectations of a DBE, et cetera?
I don't know that as far as Ozark is concerned, and you can see there from the screen, I actually oversee 6 different companies. There's a total of 11 companies that are part of the Ozark family, and 6 of them I would say is what I call real companies that have employees and a P&L. The others are holding companies or the management company that oversees them. And so as for Ozark Striping, Ozark Safety, and Ozark Traffic Management, which are actual contracting companies, that there's not I would say a formal vetting process or something that we go through. We've been involved with, road building industry myself since birth, but Ozark Striping has been around since about, I think 65 is when it started. 68 was when it was incorporated. And so we are heavily involved with Alabama's, contracting and road building. And so I feel like we have a good grasp of that. We've had a lot of interaction with a lot of different companies, and we kind of have a feel for who's a valid contractor or that we can trust to do work. Obviously, somebody that's participating in this type form in the DBE program is somebody that's looking to run their business right and grow their business. And just by participating in this would be somebody that it'd lend merit to trusting them to be a subcontractor on our project. Is there a vendor form or any? There's not. We would receive quotes just like from any other contractor, and probably would try to have a conversation to make sure that the person that sent us the quote seems to have a good grasp of the scope of work that they're talking about trying to complete.
Okay. As the Road Builders Association president,
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on how the industry is doing today, what it is heading, and then also with the current infrastructure bill that they're looking at now in Washington, D.C., if that is passed, how that can help Alabama, and how you see that, helping from a prime contractor standpoint, DBE standpoint, et cetera.
Correct. We have a very healthy program in Alabama. Not sure too many of you might have appreciated it, but we did get a gas tax passed. I guess it's a little over 2 years ago now. That ensured the long-term health of the DOT, the road program in Alabama. We had that DOT actually had a lot of debt that had been incurred with some large projects that had been bonded. And quite frankly, if that gas tax didn't pass a couple of years ago, we were about to go backwards just because we had so much debt we were having to retire versus the revenues that were coming in. And so with that new revenue stream, which I think it is approximately about 130 something million a year, it's enabled the department to retire that debt or be able to pay that debt annually, and then also to move forward with new construction and ensure a healthy program, which normally averages in the kind of 800 million range, is kind of where it floats, plus or minus, depending on the revenues. And so I think we're set to continue to have many years of growth or steady work in Alabama. you know, the bulk of the work that's happening in Alabama tends to revolve around resurfacing and replacing bridges. We're not building a lot of new roads or new capacity, because even though we have a new funding stream, the money's just not there to build the capacity out. So the main objective of the DOT is to take care of the assets that they have in place and maintain those. It does no good to go build a new road and the other ones that you've already paid for are falling apart. So you got to take care of what you've got in place. It looked like somebody was trying to chime in. Okay, but so with that being said, consistent, good work going to be available in Alabama for years to come. If you throw the infrastructure package on there, if you look at what they've talked about, it looks like there's probably, that's just road and bridge. It looks like there's somewhere in the neighborhood of $180 something billion in that range. That is just road and bridge. There's others, when you expand the word infrastructure into rural broadband, into mass transit, into all those other areas, it starts ranging up into the $300 to $500 billion worth of potential infrastructure package that's coming. That in itself would, the 180 something billion is approximately, I'd say 3 to 4 years worth of what the normal size of the federal program is annually. So that's them pushing an extra 3 to 4 years worth of work into the system on top of what would already be coming. So it would be a tremendous influx of financial support to the state agencies, so that it would be, you know, tremendous. And so I see nothing but very positive. I guess maybe I'd say the wind would be at our back for the next 5 to 10 years. So it is a good industry to be involved with. I always say it's kind of a recession proof. When times are tough, money's pumped into infrastructure. When times are good, money's pumped into infrastructure. So I believe folks on this call have picked a good industry to be involved in.
Okay, I'm not going to do all of the talking. So I noticed the other DBE Supportive Services are on. Do you guys have any questions for Mr. Webb?
Yes, I have a two-parter. John Huffman here. Mr. Webb, what do you say or see as being signs or hallmarks of a good quality performing DBE? And secondly, can they, or do you recommend that they contact your estimators or somebody in your company when they have questions about a bid? If they're going to bid with you, do you recommend that they call somebody? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. To me, I don't differentiate between a DBE or anybody else. If you can have a good conversation with somebody and understand whether or not they understand the scope of their work, and just that they're able to articulate what it is that they do, that you can see that they have some working history. I might even, if it was somebody out of the blue I didn't know at all, I would potentially like to understand some references and see who else they might have done work for. I'm real simple. I like folks to answer the calls when I call, because I'm probably calling because there's a problem or something's urgent. Not always calling to chit chat. Just responsive to needs as far as calls, quotes, or being able to be called out to the job. I'm doing a bunch of work in Louisiana, and I've actually got a DBE over there that's actually quite frustrating to me right now because they're just not answering their phone or trying to be able to schedule work for them. And that is from a prime contractor, just being able to schedule everything out and get everything in line and ready to go is so key to keep the job moving forward. That one of the main things I would stress is just being responsive to the prime contractor's needs. Did that answer everything there, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Mills, Donald, do you have any question for Mr. Webb?
No, I don't.
Danielle? I think I see her on.
No, great presentation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I do have a question, if I may.
Sure.
Hey, this is Liz Mason with Elm Services. We're a site work and utility company, and we have been considering joining the Alabama Road Builders Association. So I kind of have like a two-part question. I'd like you to talk a little bit about the benefits of the membership in the ARBA, especially for DBEs. But I also would like to know, have you given any consideration, or if you would talk about the membership fees, the structure of the membership fees, and have you given any consideration to perhaps a category, perhaps at a lower cost for DBEs?
Well, it's funny you asked these questions, and thank you for considering for joining. I highly recommend it. I go back and I say I've been a member basically since birth. My dad was heavily involved in the association. I basically haven't known a life not being involved in it. And I recommend it because of the networking capabilities that you have. As the president this year, when I was giving my speech at the luncheon, and one of the things that I guess was an initiative that I was putting in place this year was trying to create a lot more events or opportunities for us to get together as an association, as an industry. And when I broaden it out to as an industry, I've given presentations to the DOT and all that. We're talking about how things are going, and they're doing presentations about what work's coming and such at the region. And I've told them, things have gone digital. Everything's changed so much. This is even pre-COVID that changed everything. But before that, back in the day, we used to get together the last Thursday of every month, and there was that Friday highway letting, and the camaraderie that was built even amongst competitors, I think was something special. And I think we've lost that as we've gone to, electronic bidding, and we sit at the other side of the keyboard and we cut each other's throats now, trying to get work. And I feel like I said, we've lost something as an industry by not getting together. And at those same times, we'd have, there might be DOT folks that were there at some of those functions, or there would be legislatures, and it helped educate the DOT, and it helped educate legislatures about what we actually do as a road building industry. And so I committed to creating more events. We used to have a golf outing in the spring, a golf outing in the fall, a convention, and a Christmas cocktail party or something like that. And that, I'm like, what are you really getting as far as value for being a member? So I've started creating some more events, from clay shoots to social events, to where we're just getting together and trying to pack the calendar out with more opportunities for everybody to come together, both contractors, vendors, DOT, and legislatures. And I'm trying to move those type of events all around the state and to create those opportunities for, if you're a vendor, to get in front of a contractor that you might be able to sell something to. And like I said, it hopefully build those relationships between our membership and the DOT and our membership in the legislature when we go down there and we're trying to pass bills about work zone safety. There's sales tax things we're taking up in this session, trying to get back to having our sales tax exemption for products that are used on DOT projects. And so there's just a plethora of different issues and reasons that I'm trying to pull everybody together. But at the end of the day, it's about coming together and working together to make sure this industry and this marketplace for all of us stays healthy. So, and if you can't tell by my rambling on, back to that getting paid by the word. So please jump in if I get too wordy.
No problem, sir. No problem. Along those lines, as far as the association is concerned, we have recently started an advisory board, an ALDOT DBE advisory board, and one of the things that we're advocating for, especially specifically all the members on the board itself as DBEs, to become members of the Road Builders Association, and also within the DBE community to further communicate to them the value in being a member of the Road Building Association, so we can get more connected with what's going on in the industry, just instead of being on the back end, being in some of the conversation and some of the planning and so forth as it relates to what's going on in Alabama when it comes to the association. So we definitely appreciate you continuing to advocate for more membership, especially from those of us on the DBE side of things.
Right. And I just realized, Miss Liz, I didn't answer the second half of your question, was about dues structure. I've actually tried to pull together an ad hoc committee to look at that, because I also happen to chair the membership committee, and as I'm out there trying to talk and bring people on board as members, some of the feedback I've gotten is having to do with the dues structure and everything. So, but if you're a contractor member, there's basically a flat fee, and just off the top of my head, I can't remember if it's $750 or $900 a year as a flat fee. And then there's a tiered dues structure based on the amount of work that you would get in the highway letting, and that, whatever, it's a very, very small percentage that goes in for every dollar of work you're getting through the highway letting. That has nothing to do, like if you went and got some airport work, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just what goes through that monthly letting, that there's a tiered dues structure there. If you're a vendor, there's the option to be what's called an associate member. And the associate member, I think, is a flat $900 a year. But that opens you up to getting all the emails and information about what's happening, within the, not only the Alabama market, but also we're, as an extension of the Alabama Road Builders Association, you also kind of become part of the National Road Builders, ARTBA. And so there's a wealth of information that's going on about, what's happening with funding and everything with infrastructure. So you start getting all that kind of information. There's another slot for membership, which is called an aggregate member. If you happen to be part of a quarry like a Vulcan Materials or Wade Sand and Gravel or something like that, Martin Marietta, there's a whole group for dues structure for those. But those three different dues areas are kind of catches everybody. And that ad hoc committee that I've started is trying to see if we can possibly look at restructuring the dues, because the more you work that you get, that tiered system is your percentage dues, the amount on the dollar starts going down after you surpass a certain dollar amount. It keeps getting lower and lower till you actually cap out at, I forgot what I think it's like 29,000 a year is the per contractor is the cap out. Most folks, it's a subcontractor might only pay a couple $1,000s a year in dues. It would just solely depend on what kind of work you got.
Great, thank you so much.
But if Ms. Liz, if you happen to have any other associations or something that you're involved with that you think has a really good dues structure or anything like that, I would welcome some input. But I'm gonna make a note here that potential to have a some kind of different. What's probably going to happen, because I think it would need to be something across the board for everybody, that we would probably look at lowering the or changing the tier structure a little bit, and that initial due structure is not quite as much on the person that's trying to get started, or potentially give them a waiver on the first year or something like that.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Jeff, can I ask a question?
Yes.
This is probably in the category of you don't know what you're talking about, so here we go. I'm a low voltage general contractor. Inside your industry, road and bridge, do you see us interfacing with you in any form or fashion?
Well, I'm back to, we do low voltage too. I mean, that Ozark Traffic does ITS, Intelligent Transportation System. So we do horizontal drilling, putting in conduit, pulling fiber through it, traffic signals, all the traffic cameras and poles and DMS signs and everything. So we do low voltage all the time. And so there's plenty of low voltage work in the DOT market.
Traditionally, we're brick and mortar, so that's why I was like, how do I connect to the road and bridge side of life?
Yeah, I would need to understand kind of what all you do with low voltage. A lot of times that just was jumping in my head. If you said brick and mortar is like closed circuit TV and alarms and such. So I was just if you give me an idea of what you do, I could probably point you in the right direction.
Sure. Well, everything low voltage, from fire alarm systems to surveillance platforms to digital distribution, whether it's and our primary world has been the casino world with the Portsmouth Creek Indians. And as a Native American contractor, that's where we've existed. Now we're looking outside of the casinos to do the same platform in other businesses and industries. So that's why I was asking.
One of the things I would just throw out at you is something to watch. The state has committed to, I think they're doing a full overhaul of the rest areas.
Yes, very much.
And they've committed to doing like at least one a year, doing a full overhaul. So I would assume there would be some opportunity there. I mean, I know we've already done the one. Basically, we put a new one in coming in from Mississippi down there on I-10 several years back. They're working on the one in Lee County around Auburn right now. I know I think they've got the one in North Alabama scheduled to be coming through soon. And each one of those tends to be a $15-20 million overhaul of the rest areas. You've obviously got Evergreen just north of you, which will at some point need some help.
Greenville, I think they're going to do Greenville now.
Yeah, Greenville. So there's you've got two areas just right there north of you that would be possible opportunities over the next couple of years.
Well, thank you. It's how does my business get into your business? And that's kind of what the essence of the question.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Did
Mr.
you-
Webb, there's a chat question. With the vendor's $900 annual membership, are they able to attend all social events to present their marketable skills and or materials?
Absolutely. Yes. They would, it'd be open to everything. And so that would, back to, as you become a member, then you would start getting the emails about those different opportunities to gather. And when we have an event, it's typically the owners of companies or their top estimators at times. It just, they're operational guys or they're office manager types that would be that key person that the DBE or the contractor would want to get to know. And so to actually put a name with a face or a face with a name and for that prime contractor to go, yeah, there's that person at Wiregrass that I'm always trying to quote. It is so good to finally meet them and start developing a relationship. I would say at this moment, all but 2 asphalt contractors in the entire state are members of the Road Builders Association. I would say that's close to the same number as far as bridge builders as far as bridge builders that are members. I believe Mike Terrell's been on this call with y'all before, and Mike is immediate past president of the road builders, and he's with Scott Bridge. And so there is, we have a wide ranging group that I think covers the vast.
I think Mr. Webb is frozen.
Association, it needs to be something, and that was one of the reasons why I sent that list of all the different associations that I'm involved with. And that was something I was always taught, is to get engaged, get involved, and get in the middle of what's going on, so you end up learning about what's happening before it ever happens. And then when it is happening, you're going to be right in the middle of it, and you're not arriving late to the party. And I'll be more than happy to share a link to the website that actually gives some good background on the association, and a link to how you could potentially apply to be a member.
Mr. Webb, with that being in mind, this is Donald Taylor again. I have the actual form for the association membership. So for all those persons that's on the call that is interested in joining the Road Builders Association, we would definitely forward it out to them today. They just need to let us know either via email or in the group chat that they're interested, and we'll get that document out to them.
Of all those projects that y'all showed that were key projects, I think of all the names that were on there, the contractors is prime. I think the only one that jumped out at me that's probably not a member was Anderson, Columbia, and that's because they just really haven't done much in Alabama. And if they actually come over here and win a project, I
think Mr. Webb is getting, Mr. Webb, you're getting close to your word count. You keep freezing on us.
Uh-oh, I'm sorry. I did get, just like I said earlier, how I have I get paid by the word. The company has capped me at 60,000 words a day. So I'm hopefully not hitting that cap yet.
Yeah.
Can you supply your web address, please, sir, or your email address?
What we can do, once this is over, all you guys that's interested, You can check the actual thread and see his web address, but you can send an email also back to Christine, and she can get you the information on his contact information and other information we'll discuss today.
Yeah, he just put it in the chat. It's in the chat now.
And I'm putting my cell number on there.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, really? You put your cell number on there? Wait a minute now.
Hold on. I'm not scared to talk. So I welcome any calls, anything I can do to point folks in the right direction. I've been very blessed in my life to be surrounded by good folks that have believed in me and allowed me the opportunity to move forward in life, and I'll do whatever I can to help point somebody else in the right direction.
And we really appreciate that, Mr. Webb. So for all the DBEs on the call, make sure you, I would say, take strategic advantage of that. So make sure you're prepared if you are to take Mr. Webb up on that. And that's what the supportive services are here for, to help you make sure that you've got everything you need to be of benefit. And so please use us or utilize us in that capacity.
My sound went out there for half a second. I hope there wasn't. I just heard the very tail end of what you just said, Mr. Colson.
I just alerted the DBEs to make sure that they utilize supportive services, and this opportunity to reach out to you to make sure that they've got everything lined up and make sure that their capabilities are where they may need to be. So that we don't waste your time and they're asking you questions that we can answer. We want to make an efficient use of everybody's time.
Mr. Webb, this is John Huffman again.
Yes, sir.
We're thinking about having a entrepreneurial development institute. It's just to develop DBEs and to train these folks and to give them the right information as they progress. We're thinking about having it around August or September timeframe. That's right around the corner. I thought about what you said about your getting paid by the minute, word a minute, and I laughed a little bit. But I would like for the supportive services folks on the line today to think about how they could use you and to use your talents during that EDI for short. So if you would kind of give us your tentative nod, so to speak, then we could begin planning on having that event.
I'm sure I'll try to figure out how to make myself available. I just flipped over.
We wouldn't need all your time, just a few minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm open to whatever's needed. I've been, like I said, I actually sat down earlier this week and was trying to put a calendar together for events this year. So I do know August is packed with a construction materials conference for y'all. Y'all have my number and an email address, and always can get me through Tom. If you can't get a hold of me, Tom at the Road Builders can chase me down.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think we're at our close to our end. Is there any other? Thank you, Mr. Webb. We definitely appreciate your time and your efforts in our particular seminar today. Is there any other questions for any other supportive services? Any other comments for any other persons on the line that they would like to express?
Hey, Donald, this is Veronica. I just wanted to see if the supportive services have any upcoming training or events they wanted to mention.
Ms. Sterling here from North Region. In the month of May, we do have our financial literacy series coming up. It is part 2 of a 3-part series. We will be sending out the flyers towards the second week in May, so look out for that.
Okay, thank you. Sherry, you guys have anything coming up?
Don't have anything, Veronica.
Okay, thank you. Cynthia, anything you guys want to mention?
We don't have anything right now, Veronica. We may be doing something in May, but nothing definitive right now. Thank you. Appreciate
Okay. Okay, thanks a lot. Dr. Golston, I think that's all we've got for today. Great
Hey,
session.
this is Danielle. I'm sorry. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Danielle.
Hey.
Yes.
There is an event next week. The COVID Road to Recovery. All of us are still trying to figure out what happens on the other side of COVID. That is, I believe, next Thursday from 11 to 1. If folks are interested in attending that, just put their email address in the chat and we can make sure you get that information.
Danielle, it's Wednesday, the 28th.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew somebody on here would make sure that I'm between the right ditches. Yes, thank you.
Well, I just want to thank everybody again for joining in the letting seminar. We'll do it again next month, but in the meantime, for next Friday, DBEs, I want to encourage you to use the resources, reach out to the supportive service in your area or us and my team. If you got any questions, we'd be more than happy to help work with you to get a bid submitted. I want to give a special thanks again for Mr. Webb for taking that time to provide some information and work with us as we try to increase the capabilities of the DBEs and get more qualified bids for the prime contractors. We just think that's beneficial for everybody within the transportation program. So thanks Supportive Services for supporting again. If there are any questions, please reach out to us. And I want everybody to have a safe and blessed weekend. Thank you again.
Samson, when is the next bid letting seminar? When will that be?
I think Christine had it on the last slide. Well, that's May. Was that the
21st?
Yep, 21st.
Will you send out invites for that, or how does that?
Yes, I will send out invites.
Fantastic.
Yeah, if you're on the email list, you'll get those updates, Jerry, from now on each month.
Great. I trust I am on the email list.
Yeah, either through us directly or forwarded from your DBE Supportive Services provider.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
And our goal, Mr. Webb, is to have a portion of this to be face-to-face, after the virus slows down again, but the medium of Zoom allows us to, join each month without the travel. So I think it's kind of benefits for both to have both components.
Hey, I lost.
Uh-oh, we're cutting out again. All right, everybody. So thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you very